What's up guys, it's your boy Nate here with the Major Production. As you can see behind me, I just purchased this 2013 Yamaha R1. What a beast. So here today to talk to you guys about the differences between my Yamaha R1 and my 2004 Honda CBR600RR that I've had for about 5 years. It was time to upgrade. I love the heck out of that CBR. Put so much money, time into that bike and just kind of upgrading it and fixing it up cosmetically and mechanically. But this thing right here, man, just bought it. I love it, and I'll give you a little dive into the differences between the two bikes. Let's get it. Let's get this beast started up and let's go take it for a spin. Now this isn't a cold start, as I have already ridden her today, however you say that. But very menacing, very deep throaty sound. Can't beat it. Gloves on, let's get it. See you later, CBR. Coming back for you in a minute, baby. It's time for the 2013 Yamaha R1 review. Let's go, baby. Woo! Yes, sir. So as I mentioned before, this is the 2013 Yamaha R1. It's actually been one of my dream bikes for a long time. And I'm actually surprised that I own this thing as soon as I own it. I wasn't expecting to buy it. Literally was just on my couch looking through Cycle Trader and Craigslist, just, you know, just for shits and giggles. And I saw the ad, texted the guy, and I was like, hey man, I'm interested in this bike. It looks really good. The ad kind of lines up. And he texted me back and said, hey, why don't you come check it out tonight? And I was already planning on going riding. And so I was like, sure. When I went to go check it out, literally everything checked out. Everything checked out, man, and I went and picked it up and bought it the next day. And some of my initial thoughts on this bike, it is aggressive with the look. The front end is absolutely menacing. The fairings are absolutely menacing as well. It has a very sharp look to the fairings, which makes this bike one of a kind. I absolutely love the look of this bike, love the sound of this bike, and there's no mistaking when that crossplane passes you that this is an R1. I actually fell in love with this bike a while back, thanks to my boy Dylan Hutton, goes by the name of Fastlane D, baby. Actually texting me right now, so shout out to Dylan. He allowed me to ride his bike. I want to say it was about last riding season, and he's like, hey man, you want to ride the R1? And I'm literally like, yes. So I'm super giddy like a kid, man, because I just love the bike. And he was like, yeah man, just ride it. We swapped. He was riding the CBR, and just instantly fell in love. Knew I had to have this bike. Knew I would eventually own it. Oh, I mean, this bike has been a lot of fun. I've had it for maybe 3 days and put 300 miles on it already, just because I've just been out riding like non-stop on this thing. It sits a little higher than my CBR, but for good reason. I mean, this thing is so powerful that front end is just going to jump right up. The throttle is very sensitive. Literally, you know, you barely have to tap this thing and it's going to get up and go. I'm not used to that because on the 600, the throttle is not as sensitive. I have different grips on them as well, so the grips actually kind of apply to the sensitive demand of this bike as well, just because of the gloves that I use. But I freaking love this thing, man. The instant power difference on this bike compared to the CBR is just one of a kind as well. I mean, this thing just gets out. It's a good day to ride. Oh yeah. Yep. It's always good to see other people in the bike community. The bike community is always so friendly. But let's open this thing up, baby. So a couple of differences between this and the CBR, besides the power. Obviously this has traction control. I've never had that on a bike, but I mean, it's very useful. It is very useful. Also, this has A mode, standard, and B mode as well. On the 600 I've got one mode, and that's it. I mean, that thing just goes right. On this, like I said, when I bought the bike, I put it in A mode just to see how it would ride. And when I got off of the highway, I put it in B mode and instantly felt the difference. Felt like I was riding on 600 again when I put it in B mode. So a couple of things I'm looking to change once I get this thing all flushed out the way I want it. I don't really ride with these kind of levers. I will ride with some shorty levers. It just feels a lot better for me when I'm changing in and out and hitting the clutch and hitting the brake. I will also change the windscreen to a darker windscreen. Probably just put a little red accents here and there. And see, you know, nothing too crazy, because I don't want to, you know, over flash the red, but some nice little accents here and there will be fun. Just listen to the crackle sound. What a stud. I mean, this bike also sounds a lot different than my 600 CBR. The CBR is almost quiet compared to this thing. Another thing I noticed about this bike, in comparison to my CBR, is there is no gas gauge. I think the CBR was one of the first bikes to put the gas gauge, you know, the step level gas gauge to show where the gas level is. So when I bought this bike, I mean, obviously I did my research, but it was just kind of surprising to see that there was no gas gauge, especially since this was a 2013 and my 600 is a 2004. And I can feel an instant difference as well when I sit on this bike. Obviously it's bigger. It doesn't feel heavier though. I mean, this thing is fairly light to be a 1000. It moves very nimble, and it just is, you can feel that it's not a huge bike or a heavy bike, like a Hayabusa, or, you know, maybe if you're on a ZX14, something to that effect. And this bike, by no means is for a beginner. If you have a friend that's like, hey man, I want to get a bike, and they say, I'm looking at a Yamaha R1, laugh at your friend and tell him, unless he wants to stay alive, do not get this bike as a first bike. That is just not the smartest idea. This thing is just too much power for somebody to really learn how to ride and how to be on the road and how to be around other vehicles, and not know how to control it. Old Tesla Model 3. Yep, that guy's looking at the bike. Babe, why can't I get a bike? Why do I have to ride an electric Tesla? Yep, they're looking. It's a beautiful piece of artwork. Turn around just to pretend. But y'all see them looking. Y'all see them looking. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Easy there, girl. Easy, easy. Easy, girl. Time to go hop on the 600. And then we have the 2004 Honda CBR600RR. Just put brand new matte black and gold fairings on there. Added some gold accents as well. Gold shorty levers. Brand new chain and sprocket. Gold as well. The Yosh exhaust. Just a beautiful bike in and out as well. gold and black bar ends with a bar end mirror. Here we go. Now it's time for this baby, Honda CBR600RR 2004. My original baby. Let's have some fun with you, girl. I haven't rode her actually. Probably rode her one time since I've bought my new bike. So right off the bat, I mean, obviously it's just not as loud. I have shorty levers, so the ride is a little bit different. I love that. I'm so used to it. The body is not as wide, and I don't sit as tall either. The Yamaha is like probably up here almost. So that's just the main differences right off the bat. So let's get into this ride. Woo! Stalled out. And honestly, that's because the throttle's not as sensitive. So just kind of switching from 1 to 2 twice in a row. Wow! Come on, Nate. You're better than this. Wow, it's been a minute since I've been on this thing. There we go. Let's get used to it again. Let's get used to her again. This is so weird to ride this thing. Wow, it's so weird to ride this thing now. Let's talk about what I do love about this bike. Obviously, I've owned it for a long time. It's never given me, well, I wouldn't say it's never given me any problems, but it's a Honda, so you know, usually when you send it in and you take it to the shop, people know how to work on these bikes. It's fairly easy to get parts for these bikes, and you know, you're not sitting around with your head scratching trying to figure out what's wrong with something like this. So it's obviously really good on gas. The bike is very agile, it's very nimble. I mean, this thing it's made for the street. It's very low to the ground, it's compact, and it's fast for what it is. I mean, for a 600, you know, this thing can get up and go, and if you really know how to ride, you're keeping up with the 750s, you're keeping up with the 1000s. And it doesn't sound half bad. I mean, when I'm riding on the street, you're gonna hear this thing coming. You're definitely gonna hear this thing coming. This thing is a lot of fun. But look, here I'm in first gear and it's 30 miles per hour and it's yelling at me to go ahead and change the gear. I can get up to about 80 before the R1 asks me to change. Second gear, you know, I'm only going about 40 something miles per hour. The second gear on that R1, I'm hauling ass. And I felt an immediate difference just hopping on this and not being on it for a couple of days, and riding almost 300 plus miles on that R1. Switching to this is a huge difference. Obviously, I stalled out twice. What a ding dong I am. But that's just the difference in the throttle and the clutch placement. I usually like my clutch to catch a little higher, and on the R1 it catches low, so I just got to get used to doing this again, which I'll get to it. But this thing is no slack though, to be honest. There's not many things on the road keeping up with this 600. And this 600 turns heads. Like I said, when I changed the fairings, black and gold, this thing looks amazing. And you know, the average person is not going to know if it's a 600, a 250, a 1000. To be honest, they're going to look at the bike and be like, oh, it looks sweet. And another thing about this 2004 CBR, I believe it was 2003 to 2008 or 2007, they made this same model, and they all basically look the same. One of the good things that I really love about this bike is it has the gas gauge, so you know how much gas you have or don't have, and it's a little bit easier to know and when you need to fuel up. With the Yamaha R1, you know, it has a gas light for when you're low, but imagine if you're out in the country somewhere and you know you're 15 miles from a gas station, you might be SOL. Oh yeah, a little curvy curve. Come here, baby. Yes, sir. Ooh, oh yeah, you get up in that thing. You get up in that thing, girl. That's why I like you. I would feel a lot more comfortable taking this thing to the mountains right now than I would my R1, obviously. Just have ridden it for so many years. And she's so nimble. She's so nimble. She's so nimble and so light. I love those signs. That means curve ahead. That means curve ahead. Yes, baby. Don't mind if I do. Woo! Woo! I got that mother up there. Let's go, baby. Oh, look at that. I mean, people are out shooting the hooch. But owning 2 bikes, I don't know if I can really justify that, especially having 2 sport bikes. I'm going to try and justify it as long as possible, though, because like I said, I absolutely love this bike. I would hate to sell it with all the work that I put into this thing, and it's just fun. It's fun to ride. It's something I can take to the mountains and, you know, feel confident, feel comfortable in the mountains with this thing. And it's lightweight, it's compact, and honestly, it's just a really reliable bike overall. Now the 1000, the R1 is just a freaking beast, and sometimes, you know, just riding it on the street, I'm riding around in first gear on that thing, and you know, riding around in first gear on the street, you're not even switching out of the gears. You can't even have fun with that thing. But this 600 is a lot of fun. We will see how long I keep this bike. I want you guys to stay tuned, and more videos coming soon. Let's get it, baby.